Maybe you are just taking your first brand spanking shiny new AeroGarden out of its box, or you're looking at that sad and forgotten AeroGarden machine over in the corner that you abandoned after a failed attempt. It doesn't matter. Either way, I want to share with you guys today some of the plants that I think are the easiest to get started with when you're new to growing food hydroponically or you're getting started again. These are easy plants, they grow quickly, and they will help to build your confidence so that you can progress onto all the other amazing things that you can grow hydroponically indoors at home. If this is your first time around this channel, then hi, I am Kiri, and if you are coming back again, then hello, my plant nerds. As I kind of alluded to, this is not going to be a video of super exciting, fun things to grow. But that's kind of the point. These are the things that are going to grow quickly, easily, and help build your confidence. So if you're just getting into this for the first time, you don't get overwhelmed, because we don't want that. Because if you get overwhelmed, you might quit, and then you're going to miss out on all the amazing things that you can grow. There will be time for growing tomatoes and peppers and eggplants and all the other fun things later. But when we're getting started, let's keep it simple. If you are just busting your new AeroGarden out of the box, then you probably have some of these pre-seeded pods, and you can totally go ahead and use those. One word of caution, they tend to send you enough pods to fill up every hole of your AeroGarden. I would not recommend that. I never recommend that. There are people that will say it works, but for me, I've just found it's easier if you leave space and you do not plant all the holes. So we're going to be selective on which holes we're going to use and what we're going to plant where. So there's 5 things on the list. We will go through them in more detail in a minute, but just to give you an overview, the ones that I'm going to recommend that you start with are lettuce, dill, basil, chives, or bok choy. Doesn't matter if you use the pre-seeded ones. If that's all you have, then absolutely go ahead and use those. What I actually prefer to use are the Grow Anything sponges. I like to buy mine in these big bags. I think they give you 50 in this one. You can find them on Amazon. I'll put a link to a couple down below. The reason I like these is you can use any seeds you want. Well, there's nothing wrong with these ones that they send you. They can sometimes get jostled about. Mine actually came with no sponge in it. I mean, the sponge is in the box, but unfortunately, I had 2 fall out. One was a dill and one was a Thai basil, so I don't know which one is which. And sometimes when they fall out or they get jostled about, the seeds can fall out, and then you put it in and you think nothing's growing and you get very discouraged. AeroGarden on their site does say if you have any germination issues, you can contact them and they will send you a replacement pod. I can't speak to it personally because I have never actually called the customer support or contacted them, but that is what they say on the website. And so the reason your things may not grow is because there's nothing in the pod. I will also put a link down below to the Grow Anything sponges, and you can also get the baskets, and you can also get the stickers. These stickers are important. The reason that they are on here, and your little plants will get through and push through them just fine. My finger got stuck in there, but anyways, the plants will push through them just fine. I hear people asking, like, do I need to remove it? No, don't remove it. The reason that it is there is it helps to block the light. One of the things that we can deal with when we're growing hydroponically is algae. And algae is going to typically form when you have water, nutrients, and light. And we have all 3 of those things when we're growing in an AeroGarden. The point of this sticker is to help block some of the light. We need a bit to get through because we need the seed to germinate, but after that, and when the plant comes up, it's going to help block the light and help to reduce the algae. Doesn't mean you won't get it, but it's just something that you want to make sure is there to reduce the chances, because algae sucks. So in this video, I'm going to give you the varieties, a little bit about them, and also share with you some of the seeds that I'm growing this year. If you're not interested in the seeds, I will put the timestamps on the screen where you can kind of jump to the next section. But you should totally watch about the seeds because you might find something amazing that you may want to grow. I just have a seed problem, and so I have lots of seeds so I can show you guys all the variety that's out there. So many people, especially when they're getting into growing for the first time, you don't realize how much variety there is. We're conditioned for what we see at the grocery store with, like, you know, the green iceberg lettuce and maybe a leaf lettuce and a romaine and red round tomatoes. My friends, there is so much out there that is vastly different and much more exciting than grocery store varieties. And I will show you some of those today. Number 1 on the list is lettuce. This one's super easy, and lettuce honestly is getting expensive at the grocery store. I mean, everything is, but it's one of those things that it grows really easy. You can keep harvesting from it, which is great. And when it comes to pruning the lettuce, there's two main ways you can do it. The haircut method, where you just kind of grab it and chop right across and it will start growing back up again. That's not my favorite. You just want to make sure if you're doing that, you leave at least 1/3 of the plant, if not a bit more, so it has enough energy to continue growing. What I prefer to do is to harvest the outer leaves, because those are the older leaves anyways. So you don't wait until they're old, but you just harvest the outside leaves and then it just keeps growing from the center, and you can keep going for quite a long time then. And it helps to keep things a little bit more under control and not have everything kind of branch out and take up so much more space. One thing that's good to have when you're growing indoors is a small fan, an oscillating fan. You want it on really low, and that's just going to blow across. It helps reduce tip burn in lettuce, so that's good for these guys. But it also helps to simulate the breeze that the plants would experience if they were outside, and it can help them grow with stronger stems and just be a little bit more resilient. So gentle breeze. We don't want them like flopping in the wind. We just want a little breeze to give them a little rustle, help with the air circulation, which can help reduce other issues. I'll also put a link to a little fan that I like. It's just off Amazon, but any fan will do. Just keep it on low. I will start by showing you some of the different varieties I have. This is just a few of them. There's quite a few. First one I have is this Butter Crunch from West Coast Seeds. Butter Crunch is my absolute favorite type of lettuce. The leaves literally have a buttery texture to them. They're smooth, they're delicious. Love a Butter Crunch. So West Coast Seeds is a Canadian company, which is something I personally like to buy Canadian when I can. But we have some other ones that are from America that are also great, and I buy from them all the time too. Next one is Renee's Garden, and this is the Garden Babies Butterhead lettuce. So another one of those butter ones. These ones tend to be small. I have a couple of other ones that are kind of like miniature lettuces, which can be great, especially if you're growing in a really small system like a sprout or a harvest. So this is a great one for that. And I will put my affiliate links to West Coast Seeds and Renee's Gardens down below. If you use them, it helps me out. You don't have to, but appreciate it if you do. Then we have this one is just gorgeous. This is the Lola Rosa, and this one is from Baker Creek, which is probably my all-time favorite place to buy seeds. If you haven't seen it, this is their catalog. It is honestly like an inch thick. I get it every year and then sit and pour through it all through the winter. I will be putting up a video going through all of this once I get through editing it, because it's long. Another reason why I love Baker Creek is you get these free seeds with your order. This was one that I just got recently, the Yedikul lettuce, and this is one from Byzantine times near modern day Istanbul, Turkey. All of the stuff from Baker Creek are heirloom seeds, so they have been saved for generations, and they have these amazing stories that go with them, which is why I love them so much. Then there is this Merlot lettuce, which is a beautiful red one. Another free seed here was the Landis winter lettuce. This is a very cold hardy classic Pennsylvania Dutch winter lettuce. Here's another two tiny varieties. The Little Gem, which is a tiny romaine, and then we have this adorable little Tom Thumb lettuce. We have from M.I. Gardner, we have the Pablo, which is an iceberg. Black-seeded Simpson is another great one. A lot of times you're going to get this variety from AeroGarden as well. We have the Paris Island Cause, which is a romaine. This one was kind of neat. It's a frilly iceberg lettuce called Ice Queen from Baker Creek. And then, like I mentioned, you can get these ones from AeroGarden. This is the Marvel of Forest Seasons, which I'm pretty sure that this one is like a red tinged like wispy lettuce. One of the things that is handy on the AeroGarden pods is they give you a little bit of information on around when it's supposed to sprout. Doesn't mean it can take a bit longer, so I always kind of suggest people wait if it's past those days. And it also tells you the height. On this one here, it says it sprouts in 4 to 8 days, and it is a medium height. So that can be good in knowing what to plant in the front and what to plant in the back. So they will say short, medium, or tall. So that is it for lettuce. Next on the list, we have basil, and honestly, I prefer growing basil indoors hydroponically because the leaves are so much bigger. I don't know, I just find I get the biggest leaves from hydroponic basil. I add a picture on the screen assuming I can find one of them, but it was like the size of my hand from a normal Genovese basil, which is the first one on the list. Genovese basil. Basil can grow a bit tall, so one thing you're going to want to do is, if you see right in the center there where the new leaves are forming, you can just pinch that out with your fingers, and what that will do is it will encourage it to branch, and then it will make a bushier plant. Or you can kind of prune at the top, and then it'll keep putting out side shoots, and then you don't have it growing too tall and surpassing the height of the light. And basil can spread out in the AeroGarden, so you do need to stay on top of it for pruning. But there are always other varieties you can choose that will make your life a little bit easier. And that's where this one comes in. This is the Emily basil. It is another Genovese type, just like the regular one, but it tends to be a bit shorter and a bit more compact. If I'm growing in the AeroGarden, I'm probably going to opt for this variety more than I would for the regular Genovese, just because it means I'm going to have to do a little bit less and makes my life a little bit easier. So I've just told you that hydroponic basil tends to grow bigger leaves. This next one already grows massive leaves outside, and I'm going to be growing this in one of my AeroGardens very soon, and this is the lettuce leaf basil. These leaves are ginormous, and it is actually a Japanese basil. Next, we have this beautiful purple basil. This is the dark purple opal from Baker Creek. This is another one that comes a lot with AeroGardens, the Thai sweet basil, which just has the prettiest purple flowers, just gorgeous. Then I actually got this one. This was from Baker Creek, but I got it in a seed exchange from someone, and this is lemon basil, which honestly has a massive lemon flavor. There's also a lime basil, same thing. Like, first time I was like, oh, it's probably got a hint of it, whatever. I tried it and I was like, oh my goodness. Baker Creek has a lot of them, but another one that I've tried from them is the cinnamon basil. Then we have this one, and I am about to butcher the name of this, so for anyone that is Italian, I apologize, but this is the Profuma di Genova, and this is a true Italian basil from Renee's garden. That one is another one that I'm going to definitely be growing this year. And then the last one is, there's no picture on this one. It was a bonus seed from another company that I ordered from, and this is the rosy basil. It was actually from a French company. So the entire package is in French, and my French is getting pretty rusty these days. But it says it's basically a intense purple color. I will Google it, find a picture, and put it up on the screen so you can see what that one looks like. So that's the basil. So if you just thought there's one type of basil, like, mind blown. There are so many. Next on the list for number 3 is chives. Now, there's two main types of chives that I've grown. So there's the regular chives, which are kind of like round, the hollow tubes that you normally get on baked potatoes. And then there are also the garlic chives, which is, I believe, a Chinese variety, and they tend to be flat. If you get the AeroGarden chives, I found that they're the actual Chinese garlic chives. So one of the reasons I wanted to include the chives on the list is because they're pretty easy to grow. And also, this is a great one that once it really kind of gets established, you can take it out, move it out to the garden or out to a pot if you don't have a lot of space, and then you will have that come back year over year. You really just need a few seeds to take, and then you've got chives forever. Not one that I would probably keep growing in the AeroGarden unless you use chives all the time and then you want them over the winter. I prefer to grow this one outside, but it is a great one to get started and then be able to move it out to your garden. Number 4 on the list is dill. So this is another one that tends to come in the AeroGarden pre-seeded pods. I think I got it in this one, the gourmet herb kit. So it came with dill, curly parsley, and the Genovese basil. And honestly, if you were just going to start, you could start with all 3. The parsley is fine to start with too. It can be a bit slow getting started, which was why I didn't put it on the list, because then people can get anxious and they worry, is it actually going to germinate? That was the only reason I didn't include that one. And even honestly for the dill, it says here it sprouts in 8 to 21 days. And the dill is noted as a tall one, so you are definitely going to want to put this one at the back. Dill can get a little floppy because it can get really tall. So especially if you have that fan going, you've got a better chance that it's going to be able to hold up its own weight. But if your dill is kind of flopping around, I've seen people take a toilet roll and kind of cut it and then open it up and put it around to kind of help support it. Or some people use a pool noodle. That is one option if your dill does get a bit floppy. This is another one though I do love to grow outside, and one of the reasons for that is it attracts a lot of pollinators. And it's actually one of the plants that the swallowtail butterfly caterpillar absolutely loves. So it's nice to kind of see those in the garden. The last one on the list is bok choy. This is a great one. I love to use it in stir fries, and there are lots of different varieties. First, we have the Suju baby bok choy. So this is a green one from Baker Creek. Then this is the one you're probably more used to seeing at the grocery store. This is the milk bok choy. Then we have this one. It actually doesn't say bok choy. It's a Shanghai green choy right there. And then this one is one that I love to grow. It is called the Purple Lady. The leaves really are a dark purple, and they've got this veining that is lime green that is just so pretty. So that is that one. And then there's another one that is so cute. I've grown it. I will put a picture of it on the screen, the one that I grew, and it is the tiny Hedu bok choy, and they're like little itty bitty guys. Not really a good use of a pod and the space you would grow it in, but damn, they're cute. So I have grown them once or twice when I just want to smile when I'm looking at them, but really I would save a pod for a bigger variety that is going to feed you more. I really hope that that gives you some ideas of some easy ones that you can get started with. There are lots of other varieties and lots of other things that you can get onto growing, but when you're starting with tomatoes or you're starting with peppers, they can be a bit more finicky. You're thinking about pollination and all of this, which can just be a bit overwhelming when you're getting started. But if you want to jump in, have at her, power to you. But if you do get frustrated, or if you just want to start a little bit slower and build your skills and still cut down on going to the grocery store, then I think these 5 varieties are a great option. And if you're looking for some other ideas of things to grow, you can check out this video over here of some great dwarf varieties.